The world is thrown into chaos. In the heart of the city, a monstrous figure unleashes a devastating wave of raw power, the blue energy erupting outwards, shattering everything in its path as a lone warrior is violently thrown back. The news travels fast, whispered in hushed, urgent tones. Hyungnim, the raid. The outcome is a single damning word that hangs heavy in the air. Failed. In a pristine, meticulously organized office, Yoon Myung-han is slumped over his desk, utterly collapsed from exhaustion. Even in his waking moments, the weight of his condition is a constant burden, forcing him into deep, worried contemplation. I must have dozed off again, Chairman Yoon Myung-han murmurs, finally stirring. How long was I asleep? His secretary replies with grim professionalism. You've been asleep for 23 hours and 46 minutes, sir. We were ready to take you to the hospital if you didn't wake after 24 hours, just as you ordered. The secretary slides a folder across the desk. Sir, there are 2 things I must inform you of. First, a patient has regained consciousness from the eternal slumber. Chairman Yu's eyes widen slightly. An eternal slumber patient? Woke up? Yes, the secretary confirms, pointing to a file. The document contains a photo of a somber-looking woman. That patient is Hunter Sung Jin-Woo's mother. The gears in Yoon Myung-han's mind turn with lightning speed. Does that mean he has the ability to cure eternal slumber? He pushes the thought aside for a moment, his voice firm. All right, what's the second thing? Just then, a butler opens the office door. The young lady is here. A young woman with a sharp bob cut enters, a knowing smirk on her face as she looks at her father. Since when, she asks playfully, have you been like that? Meanwhile, the terrible scene the world is reacting to unfolds with brutal clarity. A colossal, bandaged hand smashes down, crushing a smaller armored warrior. Yori screams, his face a mask of pure agony and shock. He's swallowed whole, pulled into the cavernous, tooth-lined maw of a titanic beast. But the beast itself recoils, letting out a pained roar as a glowing projectile strikes its jaw. The city has become a war zone. Tanks roll down the streets, their cannons firing with thunderous booms. They unleash a barrage against 2 massive horned stone giants, the shells exploding against their rocky hides as helicopters circle above. The air is thick with the continuous, deafening chatter of heavy machine gun fire, a desperate attempt to hold back the monstrous tide. From the heart of the chaos, a powerful figure roars in frustration. Those weapons are no use to monsters. What are you all waiting for? Go destroy it! The Japanese hunters join the fray. Kane Minoru clash with the enraged, armored giant below. It won't be able to read our movements if I blind it, Akanai shouts, launching a blindingly fast slash with a glowing blade, aiming to disorient their massive foe. The monstrous figure's glowing blue eyes narrow, tracking the impossibly fast movements, its power surging. Kanai's eyes flare with crimson light as she senses the attack, a sudden, powerful reaction to her strategy. With a deafening crash, the giant unleashes a devastating sweep of its own, its raw power tearing through the city street as the hunters narrowly evade the blow. How can it be so fast with that size, Kanai thinks, shocked by the giant's impossible agility. It's absurd. From a news helicopter circling high above the city, a reporter's voice crackles with urgency. We are currently reporting live from Tokyo. It's a terrible scene that can even be seen from this distance. Miles away, Sung Jin-Woo sits on his couch, watching the broadcast. The news anchor's voice is grim. It resembles hell. The whole country is paying close attention to the hunters' effort in stopping this disaster. Jin-Woo's expression is hard as stone. At this rate, he thinks, the memory of another failed raid flashing in his mind, just like the Jeju Island raid. The whole of Asia could be in danger. A single, urgent thought cuts through the noise. I should hurry. As he watches the news report on the uncontrollable disaster unfolding in Tokyo, a quiet voice pleads from behind him. Don't go. He turns to see his sister Jin-Ah, standing in the doorway, her voice trembling. Oppa, don't go. What do you mean? He is confused as he looks back at her. She replies, You are about to leave. Her expression a mixture of worry and quiet contemplation. Jin-Woo's gaze is intense, a silent storm of thought swirling behind his eyes as he looks at his sister. He finally breaks the tension as he stands up. No, I'm not going anywhere, he says, his voice softening. I've been working too much lately, so I'm planning to rest for a while. He walks over to Jin-Ah, gently placing a hand on her head. Don't worry, he says, offering a comforting smile. Later, at a quiet, serene park, empty and peaceful, Jin-Woo sits alone on a bench, seemingly lost in thought. But he's not alone. Beru, he says quietly. The ant shadow soldier materializes beside him. Yes, Your Majesty. I mean, Lord. Beru corrects himself instantly, his loyalty absolute. Are you watching dramas instead of guarding Jinna? Jin-Woo asks, a hint of amusement in his tone. Beru's glowing purple eyes remain fixed. I could tell. How's Jinna doing? Jin-Woo asks. There is nothing odd with her behavior, my lord, Beru reports. Jin-Woo's gaze drifts. She must have developed a trauma. He remembers the terror on her face from the school gate. She has never once stopped me from going, except for my first raid 4 years ago. As he walks, lost in memory, he thinks, what do I do? A sleek black car hums as it pulls up nearby. The car comes to a sudden stop with a sharp squeak of tires. Huh? Jin-Woo looks up, his thoughts interrupted. Cut to a massive, modern skyscraper, the headquarters of a corporate titan. Inside, Jin-Woo sits, his expression stern and wary. What business do you have with me? He asks bluntly. Chairman Yu Myung-han offers a polite, composed smile. Nice to meet you, Hunter Sung Jin-Woo, an unseen aide says. The man himself speaks, his voice calm and steady. I'm Yu Myung-han, of the Yujin Construction. Chairman Yu Myung-han slides a document across the table. As Jin-Woo looks at it, a silent exclamation mark flashes in his mind. It's a blank check. I'm not an arrogant person who believes money can buy anything, the chairman says smoothly, especially if the person I'm talking to is an S-rank hunter. He closes his eyes, his smile sincere and humble. So I'd be grateful if you would consider this as my token of sincerity. Jin-Woo's eyes narrow, his focus absolute as he assesses the man before him. Whatever he is going to say must be confidential, Jin-Woo thinks, his mind racing. It's not something like a guild invitation. He cuts straight to the point. What do you want to buy from me? Chairman Yu Myung-han pauses, his expression turning grave as he prepares to reveal his hand. He looks Jin-Woo dead in the eye, his voice low and heavy with meaning. I suffer from the same illness your mother has. In the vast, empty meeting room, Jin-Woo asks, is Jin-Ho aware of this? The chairman's answer is swift and decisive. Excluding my physician, only 3 people, including me, my wife, and my secretary, know about this. A subtle, satisfied smile touches Jin-Woo's lips. So, now it's 4. The chairman sees the understanding in Jin-Woo's eyes and gives a slight, knowing smile in return. Yes, while searching for a cure everywhere, the chairman continues, his voice filled with the weight of his long, desperate journey. I found the only person in this world that has ever recovered from this illness. He leans forward, his gaze piercing. I don't think it's a coincidence that the patient happens to be your mother. What I want from you is the truth, Chairman Yu Myung-han says, his voice a sincere plea. If you help me, I will never forget your kindness. Jin-Woo looks down, his face a mask of contemplation as he weighs the offer. The air in the room is electric. An intense, silent stare-down unfolds between the 2 men, one desperate for a cure, the other holding the key. A choice hangs in the balance, a decision that could change everything. A choice has to be made. The world watches in horror as Japan burns. From a news helicopter high above the chaos, the scene is apocalyptic. Massive explosions tear through the city skyline, plumes of fire and smoke blotting out the sky. Inside the chopper, the crew is barely holding it together. This is gruesome, the cameraman mutters, his lens fixed on the devastation below. The pilot grips his harness, his face a mask of terror. They are destroying buildings and ripping out trees. It's like they're trying to erase all traces of life. But the true horror is far worse. His voice cracks as he delivers the chilling report. Above all, they are eating the people. On the ground, it's a scene straight out of a nightmare. 2 colossal giants, horned and monstrous, rampage through the city streets. One smashes its fist into a skyscraper, while the other brandishes a massive axe. The military's abandoned tanks are little more than toys beneath their feet. From a safe distance, observers trade desperate intel. Then what about us? One panics. We're safe as long as we keep our distance. Another replies grimly. It's been confirmed by multiple researchers, so it's trustworthy. Their attention is fixed on one target in particular. A massive, swirling S-rank gate of purple energy tears a hole in reality, and standing guard is the largest of the giants. The largest one among them, an analyst reports, is the only one guarding the gate while the other giants are scattered everywhere. It's either waiting for someone or defending the gate. And from the beast itself, a single, detached thought cuts through the chaos, its glowing red eyes surveying the destruction it's causing. Not like I would know the reason. From another vantage point, a spotter peers through a high-powered scope, sweat beading on his brow. It's my personal opinion, but that one doesn't feel alive, he reports, his voice tight. It's definitely breathing and moving, but it's like a machine moving according to its program. His superior scoffs. A machine, huh? If it really was a machine, the cannons would have worked. The grim reality sets in. Only 2 of the 30 giants have been terminated. The pilot asks the question on everyone's mind. How long has it been since the dungeon break? The answer is bleak. It's been 2 days now. As another building burns, a single desperate thought hangs in the air. A prayer from a world on the brink. I wonder if they can stop this before the whole world gets destroyed. Meanwhile, back in Korea, a different kind of explosion is happening. What? Are you saying you want to go to Japan? Jin-Woo is in utter disbelief, his eyes wide with shock, as he confronts Jin-Woo. Jin-Woo leans forward, his voice trembling with urgency. Didn't you see the news? It's different from Jeju Island. Monsters of this size are abnormal, Hyung-nim. But Jin-Woo remains seated, calm and collected, his arms crossed. A confident smirk plays on Jin-Woo's lips. If I succeed, he declares, his ambition laid bare, the name of the Ajin Guild will be recognized by the whole world. Jin-Woo is stunned into silence by the sheer audacity. Jin-Woo's gaze hardens slightly. But still, Jin-Woo's bravado melts into genuine fear for his friend. Even Jin-Woo, who always trusted me, is worrying about this. Jin-Woo thinks to himself, recognizing the gravity of the situation. This disaster is really, Jin-Woo yields. Okay then, Hyung-nim. Suddenly, Jin-Woo's fear transforms into fierce loyalty. I am going too, he shouts, his determination absolute. Jin-Woo looks at him, a hint of amusement in his eyes. Jin-Woo speaks. The Red Gate incident, the Jeju Island raid, and the double lair incident that happened recently. Did you notice the similarities between these news articles? Jin-Woo is taken aback. What? No, I guess. Jin-Woo grabs a framed newspaper clipping, the headline blaring, New S-Rank Hunter, with a picture of a shocked Jin-Woo. I'm not in any of it, Hyung-Nim, he cries, as if trying to prove he's not a liability. The memory of that day flashes in his mind. News article, New S-Rank Hunter. In a desperate, emotional plea, Jin-Woo throws open a scrapbook filled with articles detailing every one of Jin-Woo's legendary feats. Tears of pride stream down his face as he confesses, It's embarrassing for me to say this, but you are my only source of pride. The only thing I can boast about is staying by your side. Jin-Woo looks on, a little embarrassed. I don't think that's something you'd expect from a millionaire's son. That's why I want to be with you wherever you go, Jin-Woo pleads, his hands outstretched. Please, take me with you. Jin-Woo simply raises an eyebrow. You were against it just now. Do you even remember where I said I was going to? Jin-Woo's expression becomes deadly serious. His loyalty is unwavering. I trust you, he says, his voice filled with conviction. So if it's safe for you, I will be safe too. A soft, knowing chuckle escapes Jin-Woo's lips. He turns away casually. I was just joking. Why would I go to Japan at this time? Jin-Woo is left utterly bewildered. Hyung-Nim? As Jin-Woo reaches the door, he glances back. You should go back home now. The door clicks. Hyung-Nim! Jin-Woo calls out, but he's gone. Jin-Woo is left alone, his expression somber, contemplating the weight of his Hyung-Nim's path. Walking home, Jin-Woo reflects on his battle with the architect. I couldn't use the shadow soldiers, but the architect was around the same level as me. The realization hits him hard. That means there are still many more that exceed me. He opens the door to his apartment. It's a big world we live in, he thinks. There will be plenty of people stronger than me. He takes off his shoes, a heavy weight on his shoulders. I should discard the thought that it will be resolved if I go. I'm not a hero, he calls out. I'm home. From the kitchen, his mom peeks out with a bright smile. You're here? You're gonna eat dinner, right? A choice. The word hangs in his mind, heavy and absolute. At the dinner table, a feast is laid out, but there's an empty seat. "Where's Jin-Ah?" Jin-Woo asks. His mom replies, "She said she's not hungry. Yes, I have to make a choice." The thought solidifies in his mind with unshakable certainty. The scene shifts back. A hand rests near a blank check on a polished desk. It's Jin-Woo, speaking to the powerful chairman Yu Myung-han. "I'm sorry," Jin-Woo says, his voice firm. "I don't think there's anything I can help you with." Chairman Yu is stunned, his face a picture of disbelief. Then how did your mother recover completely?" he stammers, desperate for an answer. "Chairman, if I really knew how, and if I really wanted to, I could earn from it. I wouldn't have kept quiet." The unspoken threat hangs in the air. He has the power, but he won't be bought. Jin-Woo turns to leave. "I have to go now." The chairman, defeated, simply replies, "Understood." A swift whoosh, and Jin-Woo is gone. The elevator descends, the numbers counting down from 28. Standing in it, Jin-Woo lets out a long, weary sigh. He's Jin-Ho's father, though. The thought gives him pause. He closes his eyes, the weight of the world on him. He thinks about the chairman. "But I don't know him. I don't know what kind of person Chairman Yu Myung-han is, or if he really suffers from that illness." He pictures the 3 remaining vials of the divine water of life. The remaining divine water of life's use is limited, he thinks, his resolve hardening. So I have to use it wisely. Back at his own dinner table, the decision crystallizes. His offers were enticing, but it didn't move my heart. He looks at the food before him. If this is the time I have to make a choice for everything, I should. He takes a bite of egg roll. The taste, the texture, it floods his senses with a wave of emotion. A single word forms in his mind. "Mom!" He stands abruptly. "I'll be back." His purpose is clear. There are still plenty of people who are stronger than me, he thinks, his eyes burning with determination. Even so, as long as my growth doesn't stop, I have to be on the battleground to become stronger. His mother looks after him, a sad smile on her face. "Your father used to hurry during meals when someone needed him. The parallel is unmistakable." "I'll help you pack after you finish your food," his mother calls out gently. He stands over his sister's bed, a soft rustle from under the blankets. She's sleeping peacefully. The full moon hangs in the night sky, a silent witness. The door to Jinna's room creaks open. "Jin-Ah, are you asleep?" he asks softly. A muffled, sarcastic yes comes from the blankets. "We need to talk." Her reply is firm. "I need to sleep." He sits beside her bed, the weight of his confession heavy in the quiet room. Where do I even start? He looks at his sleeping sister, the words finally coming out in a quiet rush. "I almost died recently." He sits on the edge of her bed, lost in thought. A faint blue glow emanates from under her blankets. He tries to explain, his expression comically terrified. "No, I mean, I almost died all the time, but it was like I was really going to die this time. It was a little dangerous." His expression softens, his eye glowing with purple energy. "Anyway, I made it out alive," he says, a deep sense of relief in his voice. "I am grateful for all those times I came back home alive." He gently places a hand on her head, his voice a solemn vow. "So this time, I will come back too." A single tear escapes Jinna's eye. She was awake the whole time, a soft pat. "Thank you, Jin-Ah," he whispers. She cries silently into her pillow. "Thank you for stopping me from going this time." She knew. You would have left anyway. Jin-Woo stands, his resolve absolute, his eyes blaze with purple light as shadows swirl around him. "Yes," he declares, his voice echoing with power, "and I'll be back." He sits by her bed one last time, his hand on her arm. Behind him, the spectral form Beru, its eyes glowing with the same purple intensity. "Don't worry," he promises. "I'll protect you no matter the distance." Days later. Gogun, he stands at a podium, ready to address the world. The press is in a frenzy. Cameras flashing, reporters packed into the conference hall. The scene is set for a monumental announcement. Jin-Woo stands at the podium, delivering a passionate speech. A historic handshake seals the deal. An airplane soars through the sky, leaving Korea behind. At the airport, Yu Jin-Ho struggles forward, weighed down by a massive backpack stuffed with his golden armor, his heavy footsteps echoing through the terminal. Suddenly, Jin-Woo stops, a look of realization on his face. He senses it, a familiar, determined presence. He turns to see Jin-Ho, who is now being mobbed by onlookers. Phones out, capturing the strange sight of the Vice Guild Master carrying his own gear. Jin-Woo lets out a sigh of exasperation. Yo-you! A slight, knowing smirk crosses his face. They walk side by side through the terminal, flanked by suited guards. Above them, a massive purple emblem hangs proudly. Ajin, Sung Jin-Woo, S rank. Ajin Guildmaster, Yu Jin-Ho, D rank. Ajin Vice Guildmaster. The duo is ready. Japan awaits. The streets of Japan are a war zone. In the aftermath of the Giants' initial assault, the military scrambles to manage the crisis, but the scale of the devastation is overwhelming. The triage stations are overflowing. A desperate official shouts that there's no more room for patients, only enough space for 3 or 4 more, while over 10 critically wounded civilians can't even be moved. The situation is dire, as soldiers urge the remaining civilians to evacuate, warning that the Giants are heading their way. One bandaged man makes a stand. He refuses to leave, having promised his wife he would stay by the side of the fallen until their last breath. It's a moment of profound tragic loyalty in the face of certain death. His sacrifice inspires one of the soldiers. Seeing the man's resolve, the soldier declares that he can't escape knowing citizens are still here. He too will remain. His decision comes a second too late. A deafening tiji echoes through the street as he desperately screams for everyone to find cover. The Giants have arrived. Colossal, shadowy figures with glowing red eyes loom over the city, grabbing buildings and people with a horrifying, menacing grin. The civilians in the back of a transport truck can only look up in sheer terror. Giants! Fire! The command rings out as the soldiers on a nearby rooftop unload everything they have. A hail of gunfire streaks across the night sky, peppering the hide of a massive, shadowy beast. A sudden, blinding flash erupts from the chaos. A soldier lets out a grunt of pain as he's hit by an unseen force. He screams, "No!" as he's thrown through the air, desperately trying to shield the civilians he swore to protect. A monstrous, shadowy fist slams into the scene with a sickening asterisk, Kwang asterisk. The impact is catastrophic. The giant's body is sent hurtling through the air, crashing through multiple skyscrapers with a deafening, continuous roar of destruction. The soldier can only stare in abject horror, his face a mask of pure terror at the overwhelming power he just witnessed. The cityscape is a ruin. The massive, red-skinned giant lies amidst the rubble, seemingly defeated by an even greater force that has just entered the battlefield. From the smoke and shadows, a new terror emerges. A colossal, shadowy dragon with glowing purple eyes and wings descends from the sky, letting out a guttural, rumbling growl. A soldier looks up, his face pale with shock and confusion. What is that? A person slides to his side, pointing towards the unfolding chaos. It's dangerous! You need to move! This is too close to the hospital! Debris rains down as the civilians who chose to stay look up in alarm at the newcomer. A massive chunk of concrete hurtles towards them, but before it can hit, a figure moves. With a loud, Yu Jin-Ho throws himself in front of an elderly couple, his armored arm taking the full brunt of the impact. "I'll stand by while helping them evacuate," Jin-Ho shouts, his face a mask of determined grit as he protects the terrified civilians. From the center of the chaos, Sung Jin-Woo calmly steps forward, a vibrant purple aura erupting around him. He looks at Jin-Ho and the others, his glowing eyes filled with absolute confidence. All right. A shadow construct erupts with a piercing shriek, immediately clashing with another giant in a deafening explosion of force. The full might of the Shadow Army is unleashed. A colossal shadow beast manifests, tearing the city apart as it rises. Jin-Woo himself becomes a blur, his daggers drawn as he dashes forward at impossible speed. His blades meet the enemy in a rapid flurry of strikes, shattering their defenses. He moves like a phantom, a whirlwind of purple energy and black shadows, cutting through the battlefield. With a mighty roar, a giant is sent reeling as Jin-Woo's power slams into it with a thunderous quang. Meanwhile, across the world in East America, Maryland State, a group of powerful hunters watch the events unfold. One of them looks at a screen, surprised. Whoa, so Sung Jin-Woo went to Japan? Seated at a lavish dinner, two of the world's most powerful hunters discuss the situation. I heard Lady Selner didn't even upgrade one stage of Sung Jin-Woo's power, one says. The other, a muscular man with dark skin, scoffs. He will die with that level. The first man continues. We all upgraded our powers through Lady Selner. He must be well aware that there are limits to a normal hunter's abilities. The dark-skinned hunter smirks. He must be so proud of his powers, the other asks. But he reawakened, right? Are you putting insects and giants on the same level? The dark-skinned hunter flashes a cruel, predatory grin, his eye glowing. Hunters that are overconfident with their powers will die, he muses. Who knew getting an ant would shorten his life? How ironic. The morbid conversation continues. I'll bet my yacht that he will die in a day. A momentary flinch. I'll bet my house that he dies in 2 days. Another starts to chime in. But he's cut off. Someone speaks, his voice sharp, causing the bald hunter beside him to look over in shock. Do you all really think so? Thomas Andre, with a confident smirk on his face. I'll bet the scavenger building, he declares, the red glow in his glasses flaring, that he survives. The mood in the room sours. He steers the conversation back to their own problems, the S-rank gate in their territory. The dungeon break is tomorrow. How many do you reckon will survive among us? The tension is broken by annoyance. That bastard, he's got a talent in ruining moods. Andre simply continues his meal, a casual thought crossing his mind. Hey, maybe I would have had more fun in Japan than in the United States. He looks out the window at the ominous, swirling vortex that has appeared in the sky above their own city. Well, when tomorrow comes, he says with a dark smile, this place will be fun in its own way. Back in Japan, the city is burning. The devastation is absolute. A news reporter, broadcasting live from a helicopter, screams into his camera, his face a mask of sheer disbelief. Viewers, can you believe this? The unbelievable is happening. A giant, wreathed in glowing purple particles, crumbles and dissolves. Hunter Sung Jin-Woo's summoned creatures are defeating the giants. It's more than a defeat. It's a slaughter. A giant screams in agony as it's swarmed by thousands of shadow ants. The giants are getting devoured, eaten by the ants. A child is running in terror. A giant lunging for her with a terrible roar. Just as it's about to grab her, a shadow intervenes with a sharp, tearing sound. A bolt of purple lightning strikes true, a wave of dark energy blasting the monster back. The giant roars in fury, but it's met by the cold, emotionless power of Jin-Woo's shadows. Igris, the Shadow Knight, leaps into action, his lightning-infused blade glowing as he protects the terrified child clinging to his back. Another shadow soldier, a hulking beast of a warrior, lets out a guttural growl as it engages. Iron screams as he charges. Iron, the massive, axe-wielding shadow, brings his weapon down with a deafening clang. Tank, the hulking bear-like shadow, smashes another enemy into oblivion. The child, frozen in fear, looks up as a massive shadow looms over her. Iron lets out a powerful roar. He smirks as he dispatches the threat. Then, Igris turns. He gently pats the small child's head. A quiet, reassuring gesture in the middle of the apocalypse. Jin-Woo stands amidst the rubble, thinking, Iron! He's excited now that he's upgraded. Jin-Woo turns to the soldier he's been protecting. It's a relief that he's doing a good job, he thinks to himself. Thank you. The soldier can only stammer. He looks at the hand of the man who saved him, his voice trembling with gratitude. Thank you for Sav. Jin-Woo simply gives him a thumbs up and a confident smile. With a decisive chiak, he says, You good, brave soldier. The soldier can only stare, overwhelmed, as he whispers, thank you. Jin-Woo turns to his loyal friend. Jin-Ho, take him and finish up the evacuation. Yu Jin-Ho snaps to attention, his face beaming with pride. Okay, Hyungnim. As Jin-Ho leads the last of the survivors away, Jin-Woo remains behind, standing alone amidst the ruins and the glowing embers of his power. His purple aura flares to life, his eyes glowing with terrifying intensity. He looks out over the field of defeated giants. Now then, let's get started for real. The air hums with power, as the full might of the Shadow Monarch is finally unleashed. With one single earth-shattering command, he calls to the fallen, Arise. In a high-tech command center deep within Japan, the atmosphere is electric. An operator, headset clamped on, screams into his mic, his face alight with pure, unadulterated triumph. Nagoyashi, we're retaking the city. The reports pour in, a tidal wave of unbelievable news. Nakasu Gawashi, we found the giant's body. one operator yells. Another shouts, "Shizuokashi. We've retaken the city." The reports stack up, a litany of impossible victories. Dakayama ANDNAG ANOSHI 2. The man in charge, his face a mask of utter shock, can only stammer, "What?" His mind flashes back, a cold dread washing over him as a single, terrifying thought crystallizes. A bead of sweat traces a path down his temple. Goto Ryuji, he wasn't wrong. The memory is vivid, sharp. The overwhelming presence he felt at the airport centered around a single, unforgettable detail. A pair of piercing, glowing purple eyes. He recalls his immediate assessment of the man behind those eyes, Sung Jin-Woo. "I've seen countless hunters, but," he had thought, a chill running down his spine. "He's on a different level." Back in the present, the same official stands before Jin-Woo. The urgency of the situation etched on his face. "Nice to meet you," he begins, forgoing all pleasantries. "This is quite urgent, so please excuse my directness." He lays out the grim reality. "The Giants are coming to Osaka right now," he announces, his voice grave. "I request that you focus your defense around Osaka." He glances at Jin-Woo, his mind racing with a desperate strategy. Regardless of his strength, even for him, defeating all of the Giants is impossible. While he's focused on defense, we'll try to negotiate with other countries. Jin-Woo's profile is sharp against the dim light, his expression unreadable. His response is quiet, but it lands with the force of a physical blow. "No, I refuse." A wave of collective shock ripples through the Japanese officials. Their eyes are wide, mouths agape, completely stunned by his flat denial. The lead official, drenched in a cold sweat, stammers out the question on everyone's mind. "Then what's your plan?" Back to the present, a single thought exploding in his head. "I don't believe it." The sheer audacity of it hits him like a lightning strike, the horrifying, unbelievable truth dawning on him. He truly wants to defeat all the Giants alone, what he's doing right now. The thought finishes with a jolt of personal recognition. Was what I was going to do. Jin-Woo simply stands there, his glowing purple eye betraying a flicker of intense concentration. An immense power begins to coalesce. A brilliant white of pure energy forms, radiating a storm of ethereal purple light. His eye glows brighter, the power reaching its peak. So, the power erupts. His form shifts, becoming something more primal, more menacing. His eyes glow a stark white, a savage grin spreading across his face, filled with razor-sharp teeth. For a breathtaking moment, a new form is revealed, a colossal, armored sovereign of shadow, radiating an aura of absolute dominance. And then, the moment passes. Jin-Woo stands alone, back in his own form, his hand gently touching his neck in quiet contemplation. The silence hangs heavy in the air. He turns his attention to the fallen. "I'll just name you number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. He begins the grim task of claiming his new soldiers. Beru reports in. "My king, another enemy has been defeated." Jin-Woo's response is cold, efficient. "Then he'll be number 6. He finds Yu Jin-Ho camped out amidst the ruins. His plan is already in motion. "I'll move using shadow exchange and make them into soldiers." He turns to his friend. "You sleep first. I'll be back soon." Jin-Ho, ever loyal, simply nods. "Okay." A quiet confidence radiates from Jin-Woo. "It's easy so far," he says to the empty ruins, a dangerous promise in his voice. "But we're just getting started." And just like that, the tide of the war turns. Across the country, Jin-Woo's shadow soldiers, newly risen from the very giants they fought, join the fray, overwhelming their former brethren. A giant is blasted point blank, its massive form erupting in a violent whoosh of energy as one of the shadows strikes a fatal blow. This is a battle Jin-Woo was born to win. A war of attrition is perfect for me, given my supply of magic power. The outcome is inevitable. The giants stood no chance against shadow soldiers, who healed as soon as they were defeated. They were an unstoppable, regenerating legion of death. But the S-Rank Gates breach caused a cascade failure. The main issue is the other dungeon breaks that occurred because of the S-Rank break. Other low-rank creatures were taking over the city, so evacuation and suppression had to be done at the same time. The aftermath is a scene of utter desolation. A ruined city stands silent under a grim sky, a tomb of concrete and steel. Jin-Woo and Jin-Ho walk through the wreckage, the sound of their heavy footsteps echoing through the silence. Jin-Ho looks out at the endless destruction, his voice heavy. "It's all ruins, young Nim." Jin-Woo's reply is a simple, stark agreement. "Yeah." A figure emerges from the shadows to greet them. "You're here." It's a female hunter. Jin-Woo asks the critical question. "Miss Hanakawa, there's no hunters here, right?" Her answer is bleak. "Yes, there's no one in Tokyo except me." She elaborates on the grim situation. The extent of Tokyo's damage can't even be validated, and the giants all spread out from here. She briefs him on the global catastrophe. There are 16 S ranks, including you, 6 in Japan, 2 in China, 3 in Canada, 2 in India, and 1 each in Russia and England. There are 6 groups from each guild. The world's strongest are stretched impossibly thin, and the losses are already catastrophic. As you probably know, the deceased S ranks are Yuri Orlov from Russia, Hanja Gokui from the Evil Spirit Guild, and Lucas Hoyle from Canada. It's a tragic outcome. The giants rarely move individually, putting them on par with an A-rank gate boss. Jin-Woo listens, his face grim as he processes the intel. 3 S ranks are dead, so A-rank deaths and below aren't even being talked about. There are 31 giants, and one of them is crossing the ocean to China. Miss Hanakawa looks at him, a hint of hope in her voice. "We don't have enough rankers to defend Japan, but thanks to you, most giants are already annihilated. Other hunters are fighting the remaining giant, alongside your shadows." Jin-Woo's decision is made. A quiet resolve settles over him. "All right, then." As if summoned by his words, the final threat reveals itself. A colossal, horned beast of shadow and ruin, the sovereign of the giants. That makes him the last one. But as Jin-Woo looks upon the devastated city, a strange sense of familiarity washes over him. But this sight is familiar. Where did I see it? The memory hits him. This devastated, burning city, it resembles the demon castle. His mind races, connecting the dots. If the destroyed city of the demon castle was the system's construction, he wonders, his purple eyes glinting, what did the architect want to express through it? He dismisses the thought. The architect is already dead and gone, and he hasn't made contact after that, so it may have been his real body. There are no answers to be had from that ghost. His fist clenches, raw power gathering. Even if the demon castle did show me the future, I'll just prevent it. It's what I've trained for. His purpose is clear, his ambition absolute. I came all the way here because I always desired a power with no equal. He turns, his voice ringing with command. "Seems like we're all ready. Let's go." Miss Hanakawa looks confused. "What? But the other hunters haven't joined us yet." A faint smirk plays on Jin-Woo's lips, his eyes glowing. "No, they already have." Elsewhere, other hunters are pinned down. A powerful blade slams into the ground. Stab. Kanai is thrown to the ground, exhausted and furious. "Ha! This is annoying!" Minoru tries to rally her spirits. "At least we're alive. Think positively." But she can only stare in awe and disbelief at the battle unfolding around them. "I know, but they're pressing onward, dominating every giant in their path, the very giants we couldn't even get close to." It's like a dream. No, a nightmare. The 2 hunters can only watch from a distance as the Shadow Army wages war. They're leaving the cleanup to us. Kanai seethes with frustration. It's infuriating, those damn summons. And what summons they are. Igris, Tank, and the other marshals of the Shadow Army advance with relentless, synchronized steps, their purple energy cutting through the darkness. With a deafening whoosh, they descend upon the battlefield. Their arrival is an explosion of pure destructive force. Beru, the Ant King, joins the fray, a whirlwind of claws and violet lightning, manifesting from the chaos. The shockwave from their landing alone is catastrophic. The ground shatters, buildings crumble, and human hunters are sent flying like ragdolls. Thud. Hanakawa can only watch, her face a mask of pure terror at the power being unleashed. A legion of shadow beasts, wolves of pure amethyst energy, tear through the remaining giants. It's a symphony of destruction, a maelstrom of shadow and light as the full might of the army is brought to bear. An immense force of dark energy, infused with violet power, slams into the last giant. The power is overwhelming, a tidal wave of shadow that consumes everything in its path. KO. OM. The battle is over. High above the chaos, Beru swoops through the sky, his work complete. Swoosh! The force of their departure is as violent as their arrival, a final zoom of power that sends the remaining hunters scattering. Jin-Woo stands amidst the dissipating energy, a subtle, satisfied smile on his face. "Ah, it's done," he addresses his unseen army. "Good job, everyone." Beru bows, his voice filled with reverence. "Thank you, my king." Jin-Woo turns to his friend. "Jin-Ho, stay somewhere safe with Ms. Hanakawa." Yu Jin-Ho nods, his trust absolute. "Okay, young Nim." The two of them trudge off into the ruins, leaving Jin-Woo alone to face the final act. He stands atop the wreckage of the city, a solitary figure against the apocalypse. His voice rings out, a quiet command that shakes the world. "Now, arise!" The ground erupts. With a deafening oosh, a colossal shadow, the subjugated giant king, claws its way from the depths, its scale dwarfing the ruined skyscrapers around it. From every shadow, on every piece of rubble, his army manifests. An endless legion of darkness, their purple eyes igniting the twilight. They fill the horizon, a silent, terrifying army awaiting their master's command. Jin-Woo raises his hand, his voice echoing with absolute authority, addressing the legions of darkness that are his and his alone. "My shadows." His arm glows with golden light, his body wreathed in a violet aura as he lunges forward, his command a thunderous roar that signals the end. "Charge!" With his newly acquired army of colossal shadows at his command, Sung Jin-Woo unleashes his full might. Purple energy erupts around him as he bellows the single, absolute order to his new soldiers. "Charge!" Beru releases his signature guttural, grinding groan, his eyes glowing with loyalty to its new master. The battlefield erupts into absolute chaos. Jin-Woo's shadow army, a swarming tide of darkness, crashes against the remaining enemy giants. With sharp, piercing sounds, his soldiers tear into their former brethren, a storm of purple energy overwhelming the colossal beasts. The Shadow Army descends upon the city, a tide of pure destruction aimed at the colossal invaders. But the enemy commander, the Giant Sovereign, is a force of nature unto itself. With a single swing of its massive blade, it unleashes an earth-shattering shockwave, meeting Jin-Woo's army head-on. Jin-Woo watches the clash, his eyes glowing with purple intensity. He can feel the sheer power radiating from his opponent. The shadows spread like a plague, a tide of crimson and purple that threatens to consume everything. From the epicenter of that power, the Sovereign emerges, its red eyes burning with absolute malice. The air itself crackles under the weight of its presence. The Giant Sovereign is a being of overwhelming might. Jin-Woo's eyes narrow. The power flowing from the Sovereign is on a completely different level from the other giants. And in that instant, a decisive blow lands. A massive impact rocks the battlefield, and a piercing scream of agony tears through the air. The giant unleashes a flurry of crushing blows, each one landing with the force of a collapsing building. The giant opens a path in the Shadow Army and charges. Jin-Woo observes the enemy commander, the colossal sovereign of the giants. Its power is undeniable. As his own forces clash with it, Jin-Woo realizes the truth. This thing is on another level entirely. It possesses incredible strength, capable of killing 100 with just a single swing. This humongous creature radiated such a heinous magic power that for a fleeting moment, even Sung Jin-Woo felt the primal urge to run. The aura it gave off was just unpleasant. How could a being with such vile, overwhelming energy even exist? In the face of such a foe, there are only two options. The first is to run away from the source of that terror and try to forget about it, or completely and utterly eradicate it. The Sovereign's red eyes flare, its power reaching a fever pitch. One of Jin-Woo's shadows lunges forward, a savage grin plastered on its face as it goes for the kill. But the Sovereign meets the attack with a single, cataclysmic punch. The impact is so immense it feels like the world itself is cracking apart. The raw power of the Sovereign surges, completely eliminating the soldier. Beru's seemingly endless swarm of ant shadows crawls over the Sovereign's feet, a tide of tiny blades attempting to overwhelm the giant through sheer numbers. The Sovereign simply stomps, unleashing a shockwave that vaporizes a portion of the swarm in an instant. But Beru is relentless, letting out a piercing shriek as he commands his soldiers to press the attack again and again. Jin-Woo extends his hand, standing atop a cliff with his strongest generals. Jin-Woo watches the battle unfold. He holds them back, his voice echoing with quiet authority. Not yet. He calmly assesses the situation. He had already expected this level of power. He thinks to himself, I have enough mana. I have to keep pushing until I find its weakness. Blow after devastating blow rains down, each one capable of leveling a city block. Jin-Woo pushes through the onslaught, his eyes glowing, his focus absolute. He's taking the hits, testing the limits of his own defense and the Sovereign's offense. His mana bar is draining, but slowly. The battle is a brutal war of attrition, with his shadows clashing against the Sovereign in a symphony of destruction. His colossal shadow giants trade blows with their former master, the impacts shaking the very foundations of the city. Jin-Woo's eyes glow with sudden insight. Its magic power is wrapped around it like armor, which is why it's not defending. It's that confident, but a memory flashes in his mind. A single, crucial detail. It blocked an attack. Just once. It wasn't confident. It was a bluff. The armor had a weakness. With a new strategy in mind, Jin-Woo summons his fastest shadow, Kaisel. The plan has changed. No more testing the waters. He stands before his ground forces, his voice a clear command that cuts through the chaos. Let's go! The shadows surge forward as one, a unified wave of darkness and fury aimed directly at the Sovereign. Beru becomes a blur of motion, a streak of purple energy as he charges the giant head-on. Kaisel soars through the sky, a majestic and terrifying silhouette of immense power, carrying his master towards the colossal foe. Igris joins in. He lands another swift, slashing attack, which the giant manages to evade. The Sovereign is forced to defend, its body battered by the relentless, all-out assault from every direction. Jin-Woo's eyes narrow, his focus absolute. He's found his opening. There! The giant directs a powerful, high-speed energy slash towards Jin-Woo, a brilliant blue arc of destruction that cuts through the air with a piercing sound. The attack tears through Kaisel. The giant's eyes widen, glowing with rage. Igris presses his advantage. A high-speed dance of death unfolds. The air itself seems to explode with the force of the attack. He lands a torrent of destructive force. The energy clash is immense, a blinding explosion of power. The shockwave is deafening, a catastrophic rumble that announces the turning of the tide. From within the blinding light, Jin-Woo emerges. The Sovereign lets out a desperate, furious roar, but Jin-Woo is already on him, a blur of purple light dodging the attack with impossible speed. A smirk plays on Jin-Woo's lips, his eyes glowing with triumphant light. As expected, he had baited the attack, forcing the Sovereign to overextend. His shadows move in perfect sync, a flurry of attacks that further break down the giant's defenses. Jin-Woo channels an entirely new level of power. Purple lightning erupts from his body as he activates Ruler's authority. The Sovereign is caught in the storm, struck by a bolt of divine lightning. Watching from the ground, Yujinho and Hanakawa can only stare in awe. It's no longer a fight between hunters and monsters now. Hanakawa finishes the thought, her voice trembling. It's more like a fight between monsters and monsters. Seeing his master engulfed in that terrifying power, Yujinho smirks. Hyungnim! The giant screams, his body cracking under the immense strain of the ruler's authority. Jin-Woo stands resolute amidst the storm, his iconic daggers floating around him, his own power reaching its absolute peak. His eyes flare with purple light. He calls out the name of his next attack, Violent Slash. He becomes a whirlwind of destruction, a storm of slashes so fast they seem to strike from every direction at once. The Sovereign can only roar in agony as it's torn apart by the relentless assault. Jin-Woo pushes past his limits, screaming in exertion as he calls for his strongest soldier. Beru! From the shadows, Beru emerges, his loyalty absolute. Your wish is my command. He launches an impactful blow into the giant's damaged eye. The system messages flash one after another. You used Violent Slash. You used Violent Slash. Again and again, he unleashes the attack, a furious storm of purple blades that leaves no room for escape. Beru, now inside the giant's body, becomes the spearhead of the final charge. The giant can only growl in defiance as it stares down its own demise, its crimson eye meeting the victorious gaze of the Shadow Monarch. With a final, deafening rumble, the battle ends. The Age of Giants is over. As the last echo of the cataclysmic battle fades, the system rewards Jin-Woo's triumph with a cascade of notifications. One after another, the messages flash before his eyes. You have leveled up 4 times in a row. The experience gained from felling the giant Sovereign, The boss of the S-Rank 8 has catapulted his power to yet another new height. A familiar voice cuts through the silence. "Hyungnim!" It's Jin-Woo, rushing to his side, his face a mixture of awe and relief. As Jin-Woo finally processes the system's victory message, he turns to his friend. Jin-Woo can barely contain his excitement. "You really are amazing. You defeated the Giants, boss," he exclaims, his voice filled with pure admiration for the man who single-handedly saved Japan from annihilation. But as Jin-Woo gazes upon the crumbling corpse of the defeated sovereign, a cold realization dawns on him. The system declared the enemy defeated, but there was no message saying the dungeon was cleared. This raid isn't over yet. He instinctively reaches out, attempting to use his signature skill, but no black smoke rises from the corpse. A system notification confirms his suspicion. Shadow extraction not possible on this target. Jin-Woo understands with grim certainty. This creature wasn't truly alive to begin with. It was a puppet, a golem of immense power. His focus sharpens, his mind racing to understand the implications. If the boss wasn't the true final enemy, then what is? His daggers materialize in his hands, crackling with violet lightning. He stands ready, his senses on high alert, bracing for whatever is about to emerge from the still active S-Rank gate. The giant in front of him flinches, even in death. "Your Majesty." The voice is deep, respectful, and directed at him. From within the giant, Beru emerges. "It's me," Jin-Woo murmurs. "So it was you," finally understanding. A magic power that rivals Beru's even after it's dead. Suddenly, the gate itself convulses. A violent, unprecedented storm of pure magical energy erupts from the portal, tearing through the air with unimaginable force. Jin-Woo's eyes widen in shock. The sheer pressure is unlike anything he has ever felt. Immense power surges from within the gate. Whatever this is, it's strong. A powerful magic power storm rages, swirling with chaotic energy that seems to want to tear the very world apart. His first thought isn't for himself. In a panic, he shouts, "And Jin-Woo!" But his loyal Shadow Knight, Igris, has already acted, shielding Jin-Woo from the blast. Jin-Woo lets out a sigh of relief. With Jin-Woo safe, he turns his full attention back to the gate, his expression hardening with resolve. He watches in horror as the gate begins to absorb the magic power from the fallen giant's corpse, the swirling vortex growing stronger, denser, and more threatening with every passing second. The raw force radiating from the gate is so immense that it slashes his cheek, drawing blood. Jin-Woo is stunned. To be injured just by the pressure of magic power, this has never happened before. There's only one way to find out what's happening. He turns to his friend. "Jin-Woo, you wait here. I'll go inside the gate and figure out what's going on." Before Jin-Woo can even finish his worried plea to be careful, Jin-Woo is already moving, with a burst of speed that leaves a trail of violet energy in his wake. He plunges headfirst into the raging magical storm. He tears through the dimensional fabric, emerging on the other side into a place of impossible scale. His eyes widen in shock. He's inside. He finds himself in a vast, ancient hall, adorned with Gothic architecture and statues of gargoyles perched high above. The sheer scale is breathtaking. The dim chamber is filled with an eerie silence, the air thick with the dust of ages and a palpable sense of dread. He stands dwarfed by the colossal structure. "It's huge," he murmurs, realizing its purpose. Well, makes sense since the giants would need this much space to cross over. This was their staging ground. As he takes in the sight, a sound echoes through the hall. A strange, ethereal noise. His loyal shadow, Beru, materializes beside him. "My king, did you hear that?" Jin-Woo's eyes narrow. Yes, he heard it too. The sound resolves into a faint, mocking laughter that grates on the soul. What a foul laughter, Jin-Woo thinks, a grim smile touching his lips. An enemy has intruded the gate, their own territory, and they're laughing? Jin-Woo finds the sheer arrogance interesting. He turns to Beru, his voice low and steady. "Let's go." Laughter grows louder, echoing through the immense chamber. "Ha ha 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 ha!" A booming voice resonates from the darkness, filled with condescending amusement. "It amuses me very much." Massive, glowing blue chains suddenly rattle in the darkness. "You contemptible rulers," the voice bellows. "See for yourselves who has come forth to meet me." As Jin-Woo ventures deeper, he sees the source. Massive, monstrous, being bound by the glowing chains, and as he approaches, he speaks. "Welcome, Sovereign. This is the true boss of the dungeon, The chained being struggles, its voice filled with desperation. Chains! Release the chains! I know the plans of the rulers. I must inform the other sovereigns. The being's glowing red eyes lock onto Jin-Woo. A long, heavy silence hangs in the air. Then it speaks, its voice laced with confusion and disbelief. You are not the one I know. Jin-Woo stands before him as he asks, "Did the rulers, or whatever they are called, make you like this?" The giant's voice is weary. "They are trying to use me as a foothold to strengthen the foundation for a real war." Jin-Woo is stunned. He's tried to communicate with intelligent monsters before, but none could ever explain their origins. Now, his mind races as he asks the most important question. What are rulers? The king of giants' voice is grim, ancient enemies of the sovereigns. Jin-Woo's mind connects the dots with terrifying speed. The foe of the sovereigns, does that mean they are his enemy too? And if these rulers were powerful enough to bind this being, then the creature before him is far more than just a dungeon boss. Yes, the king declares, his voice booming with pride and power. I too am a sovereign. The chained giant issues a dire warning. I'm certain the sovereigns and the rulers are all after you. You lack the strength to face them right now. In order to fight against them, you'll need influence. He sees his opportunity and makes his plea. Release me, he bargains, and I shall help you. Jin-Woo scoffs at the idea, his purple eyes glowing with suspicion. Help who? A monster helping a human? Do you expect me to believe that? But the sovereign is confident, his voice echoing with conviction. I'll make you believe it. A sinister grin spreads across his face, his confidence absolute. The giant starts murmuring is some unrecognized language. A system window appears. The king of giants, the monarch of the beginning, Legia, has used a skill, Oath of Faith, a magical contract where neither party can lie. The system asks Jin-Woo if he accepts. The king of giants is offering a deal bound by absolute truth. After a moment's thought, Jin-Woo weighs his options. He makes his choice. Yes, the system confirms it. The caster and the acceptant cannot lie to each other unless the contract is annulled by mutual agreement. Believing his offer has been accepted, Legia once again begs to be released, promising his aid. Jin-Woo's voice is cold as ice. All right, I completely trust. He pauses. Yes, that is the Oath of Faith. It's impossible for you to lie, Legia cuts in. With the Oath of Faith active, Jin-Woo begins. Beyond that, why can you communicate freely unlike the other creatures? Legia corrects him. The mindless monsters spilling from the gates are not creatures. They are the residents of chaos. He scoffs at the very comparison. How can you consider the residents of chaos as the same level of comparison as the sovereign that rules them? Legia explains that the monsters pouring from the gates are mere stragglers, beings whose consciousness has been eroded over an eternity of capture, turning them into mindless, savage beasts. But Legia is different. I am king, he declares. Unlike them, I have maintained my rationality, enduring all those years waiting for the day I am free. And then I met you. Jin-Woo's mind flashes back to the angelic beings he saw in the architect's vision. Is the ruler's army, the ones with silver armor and wings? Legia confirms it. Yes, that's the ruler's soldiers. The revelation raises a horrifying question in Jin-Woo's mind. Why are the rulers sending the monsters, the creatures, to us? A horrifying, toothy grin spreads across Legia's face. Legia, laced with grim certainty. I told you, didn't I? He growls. They are preparing for war. The rulers intend to turn Earth into their personal battlefield, to wage war against their ancient enemies, the Monarchs. Jin-Woo remains calm, one hand casually in his pocket, but his mind is racing. He doesn't understand. How does sending monsters to Earth prepare it for a war? Legia's answer is deceptively simple. They plan on inserting magic energy into your world. The gates, the monsters, the chaos, it was all part of a grand, terrifying design to fundamentally alter the planet. For humanity, this has been a paradox. The monsters that emerged from the gates were apocalyptic disasters, wiping out cities and armies. But the magic energy they left behind? That was seen as a blessing. This blessing came in the form of magic stones and mana crystals. For hunters and civilians alike, these became the world's greatest source of energy, fueling a new era of technology and power. It was the silver lining to the apocalypse. But Jin-Woo now sees the horrifying truth. The new energy sources, the rise of hunters, the entire system the world has been built on, It was all just laying the foundation. They were the footsteps paving the road to an unimaginable war. Legia explains the grotesque mechanics of the ruler's plan. To infuse a world with a power it doesn't possess, there's no better method than using the blood of those who already have it. The rulers decided to use the hostages, sacrificing them within the gates. The magic energy concentrating on Earth? It's the spilled blood of countless demons. The goal is to strengthen the world, to make it durable enough that it won't simply disintegrate from the sheer shockwaves of the coming war. Jin-Woo presses for more. And by war, you mean? The answer is an apocalyptic vision of cosmic chaos. The rematch between the rulers and the monarchs. Legions of shadowy, monstrous monarchs clash with brilliant, winged rulers in a cataclysmic battle that tears the very fabric of reality apart. Legia's prophecy is absolute. The world as Jin-Woo knows it will become a living hell. And it will happen much, much sooner than anyone thinks. His voice grows urgent. There isn't much time. Now that we have made contact, we've drawn the attention of both sides. Neither the rulers nor the monarchs will stand by. In fact, the rulers are likely already on the move. Jin-Woo senses the implication in Legia's words. "You keep making it sound like they're after me," he says, his purple eyes narrowing. "How come?" A condescending tone creeps into the Legia's voice, a chilling pity for Jin-Woo's ignorance. "So you really don't know anything." And then comes the most devastating revelation of all. The power Jin-Woo wields, the very source of his strength, is not truly his own. He inherited it from its original owner, an owner who betrayed the rulers. By possessing this power, Jin-Woo has inadvertently painted a target on his back for both of the most powerful factions in the universe. He has become an enemy to the rulers and the monarchs. Sensing Jin-Woo's new, isolated position, Legia makes his pitch. He alone swears to remain by Jin-Woo's side, to fight with him against both cosmic armies. He makes a desperate plea. "So won't you help me?" Jin-Woo listens, his face an unreadable mask as the purple aura of the Shadow Monarch swirls around him. He is processing, calculating, and his response is ice cold. "If you truly only want to help me," Jin-Woo says, his voice devoid of emotion, "it'd be easier for you to just become a shadow soldier, wouldn't it?" Legia is stunned into silence. The sheer audacity, the chilling logic. It's something he wasn't prepared for. Jin-Woo's glowing purple eyes lock onto the demon, his power and presence overwhelming the ancient hall. In that single, terrifying moment, Legia sees something else inside Jin-Woo. A fleeting glimpse of him, a flicker of the original terrifying power that once shook the cosmos. Recovering, Legia reveals a critical piece of information. Both rulers and monarchs are bound to their spiritual forms. When those forms die, they cannot be resurrected as shadows. It's a fundamental law of the universe. "And so I cannot become your soldier," Legia declares, his body still bound by the glowing blue chains on the ritual circle. "Is that enough for you to help me now?" Jin-Woo processes the new information. He understands the situation now, but something still feels off. His instincts are screaming. As he summons his dagger, the final piece of the puzzle clicks into place. There's something he's missing, or rather, something Legia is deliberately leaving out. Legia, sensing his chance for freedom is slipping away, begs one last time. "Please," he growls, his entire massive form straining against the magic. "Free me from these chains." Jin-Woo looks at the bound demon, his own purple aura flaring. "You said you'd be by my side, right?" he asks, his voice dangerously calm. Legia quickly agrees. "Of course. If you help me, I will help you. This is a fair and absolute deal between monarchs." With a deafening crash, the magical chains binding Legia shatter into pieces. With the demon now free, Jin-Woo looks at the hulking figure before him. The first part of their deal is done. So then, Jin-Woo fixes his gaze on the demon, his glowing eyes boring into its soul, as he asks the one question that will expose everything. "Are you on the side of humans?" Legia is silent. The demon's glowing red eye stares back, but no words come out. "Why are you silent?" Jin-Woo presses, his patience wearing thin. Gripping his dagger, Jin-Woo's mind connects the dots. The demon can't answer. Not because it won't, but because it can't. Is it because of the oath of faith? A power that forces obedience. A curse disguised as loyalty. Jin-Woo lays the trap bare. That magic stone behind your neck. As long as it exists, you too must be hearing the words of the rulers, and he knows exactly what those words are. The same command given to every monster that comes through a gate. Kill the humans. The demon's lies are exposed. Its true, malevolent nature is revealed in a snarl of jagged teeth. Legia lunges, its power crashing down. The deal's off, Jin-Woo declares, his voice like thunder as he evades the grab. It's too dangerous to let you live, Jin-Woo declares, as he inserts his dagger into Legia's chest. You could become a calamity. No, you're mistaken, Legia snarls back, pushing against the immense pressure. The calamity is not me, it's YOU. Legia's red eye glows with pure fury. In response, he erupts from behind Jin-Woo, letting out a deafening roar. The hunt is on. The battle is instantaneous and brutal. Jin-Woo moves like a phantom, his attacks too fast for the eye to follow. Legia is completely overwhelmed, unable to withstand the relentless assault of a true monarch. Jin-Woo dodges a desperate attack from the chain giant, his movements fluid and precise. He counters with a devastating blow, his fist crackling with black lightning, sending the demon reeling. With a final guttural scream of agony and rage, Legia's form begins to destabilize, unable to handle the sheer force of Jin-Woo's power. As Jin-Woo stands, Legia's final words echo. As the battles become more frequent, the faster your world will become an increasingly fierce war zone. As he falls, Legia unleashes a final, bitter curse. I pray, he hisses, that everything you hold dear and protect turns to ash, burned by the karma of war. Jin-Woo watches, his glowing purple eye cold and unwavering. It won't go as you hope. With a final, agonizing cry, the demon's form completely disintegrates. A familiar blue screen appears before Jin-Woo. You have defeated the dungeon boss. You have defeated Legia, one of the 9 original monarchs. In the aftermath, Jin-Woo stands resolute, dagger in hand, facing the dissipating form of the defeated monarch. The chains that once bound Legia rumble and fall silent. It's too bad I didn't get any shadow soldiers, he muses, just as Legia predicted. But he spots an item left behind. I guess I'll take this as a souvenir. As the dungeon collapses, a new notification flashes. After all the revelations and the brutal fight, Jin-Woo has finally reached level 122. Meanwhile, back in the United States, the distinct sound of rotor blades echoes across the grounds of a massive, opulent estate. A helicopter has landed on the lawn of a private mansion, signaling the arrival of some very important guests. Inside, a man in casual loungewear looks up, surprised. This is Christopher Reed, one of the world's few nation-level hunters, and he wasn't expecting company. 2 figures approach the estate. A man in a sharp suit, identified as the vice director, and a woman with dark, curly hair, Ms. Sellner. The vice director immediately requests a private audience. This is clearly not a social call. Christopher Reed gives a firm order to his staff. No one is to be allowed near his room until his guests have left. Whatever this meeting is about, it requires absolute privacy. In a luxurious sitting room, Chris leans back on his sofa, already annoyed. If this is about some S-rank gate, he says dismissively. I'm not going, Sellner shakes her head. I'm not here because of a gate, Chris. There's a much more serious problem than that. Chris raises an eyebrow, intrigued. More serious than an S-rank gate? Suddenly, the atmosphere in the room shifts. An ethereal blue energy surrounds Chris, and his eyes begin to glow with a brilliant, otherworldly light. Ms. Sellner delivers a chilling prophecy. Chris, you may be murdered in the future. Chris, you may be murdered in the near future. The teacup in Chris's hand jolts violently. His composure is shattered. Chris tries to regain his cool, but his words are laced with ice. He addresses the psychic, Lady Sellner. Lady Sellner, I haven't forgotten what you've done for me, but we're not close enough to joke around with each other. His eyes flare with an intimidating blue light as his casual dismissal vanishes. Just who the hell are you talking about here? Her voice remains low and serious. I recently had a dream about you. But Chris cuts in, his voice a low command, his own eye glowing with raw power. He has no time for dreams or prophecies. Look here, Sellner. She falls silent for a moment, her face a mask of solemn contemplation. The weight of her vision seems to press down on her. His anger finally erupts. You've come all the way here to spew this bullshit just because of some dream you had? His jaw clenches, The muscles straining with barely contained fury, he rises, his voice booming with accusation. I know what you did for a living before you awakened. There are rumors about the source of your unique ability, he sneers, that it's rooted in the fact that you used to be a psychic. Lady Selner doesn't flinch. Her own eyes begin to glow with a cyan light, her power reacting to his aggression. She remains silent, her expression a mix of pity and concern for the man who refuses to see the danger. Chris scoffs, his confidence absolute, his arrogance a shield. I am a national-level hunter, he declares, his voice echoing with power. Nobody can kill me. Dream this, dream that, he mutters. All right, fine. Let's say I believe whatever you're saying. Then who will I even go to ask for help? The very concept is absurd to him. You're telling me someone exists with enough power to protect ME, a national-level hunter? There's nobody who could do such a thing anyways. But Lady Selner simply stares, her silence a stark contrast to their blustering. And then she speaks up. There may be someone who could help you. The name she speaks sends a ripple through the room. Hunter Sung Jin-Woo. He may be able to protect you. Chris freezes, a bead of sweat tracing a path down his temple. The name hangs in the air, a question mark over the head of one of the world's most powerful hunters. Sung Jin-Woo? Miles away, exiting the gate, Jin-Woo relives the shattering of the fallen king he was forced to destroy. Jin-Woo reflects on his decision. I had to kill the king. That was the correct choice. Even with his powers sealed by those strange chains, Legia's presence was a suffocating pressure. Had the demon been free to roam the world, the consequences would have been catastrophic. He was lucky to have discovered the Monarchs' true intentions before it was too late. Surrounded by the phantoms of both threats, the Monarchs and the rulers, a single burning thought consumes him. I need to get stronger. News of his impossible feat spreads like wildfire. The world learns that in a matter of hours, a single hunter eliminated every last giant that had brought Japan to its knees. On social media, the whispers become a roar. A new national-level hunter has appeared. And this time, it isn't just a rumor confined to Korea. The entire world is talking. The one giant who managed to escape across the ocean was swiftly dealt with by China's own national-level hunter, Liu Zhigang. But the world's attention remained fixed on the man who did the impossible. In the aftermath, the head of the Japanese Hunters Association, Matsumoto Shigeo, turns himself in, confessing to his scheme to sacrifice Korea's hunters. He seeks to take responsibility, though his ultimate purpose remains a mystery. And on the opposite side of the world, in Maryland, USA, the American hunters who just cleared their own S-rank gate are preparing for a government-hosted celebration party. At the party, the mood is light. I guess clearing an S-rank raid is a big deal after all, one hunter remarks, admiring the lavish celebration. I know, right? Another agrees. The raid was easier than we expected too. Suddenly, a massive figure towers over them. It's Thomas Andre, clad in a ridiculously casual Hawaiian shirt that does little to hide his monstrous physique. There you are, guys, he says, his voice a low rumble. He grins, his sunglasses glinting in the light. You haven't forgotten about our bet, right? He recounts the wagers. He bet his yacht. Another bet his mansion. He turns to the bald hunter. And you, what'd you bet again? The hunter looks away, feigning ignorance. I didn't bet anything. Thomas's grin widens, becoming predatory. Hey, that's a nice tie you've got on. The man freezes, sweating profusely. I didn't, he stammers. Thomas leans in closer, his voice dropping to a menacing whisper. Your tie. The man can only stutter. No, I. A moment later, Thomas is proudly showing off his new, expensive-looking red tie to his assistant. How's my tie looking? He asks with a huge grin. She replies with brutal honesty. It looks expensive, but it doesn't go well with your Hawaiian shirt. He readily agrees, casually flicking the tie away. It's then that his assistant gets to business. That aside, we have a problem. The list of participating guilds in this upcoming international guild conference has been released, she informs him, and Korea's Ajin Guild is included. Thomas looks surprised. Ajin Guild, he asks. She confirms, yes, Hunter Sung Jin-Woo's guild. Thomas Andre pushes up his sunglasses, a slow, predatory grin spreading across his face. The pieces click into place. He'll be coming to us then. Back in the ruins of Japan, a powerful, shadowy aura flares to life. His loyal companion, Yoo Jin-ho, watches in awe. Amazing, Hyungnim, he exclaims. Jin-Woo solidifies, his shadow army coalescing from the purple haze around him. "It's a shame we let one get away across the ocean," he remarks calmly. "But with this, our forces have grown." The newly assimilated soldiers can only stare in wonder. "Wow," one gasps. "How the hell did he?" "So that's Hunter Sung Jin-Woo's ability?" Yu Jin-ho just smiles, completely unfazed by the godlike display. It's no surprise they're shocked, he thinks to himself, seeing Hyungnim's ability for the first time. As he's lost in thought, Hanekawa's voice cuts through the silence. "Excuse me, sir?" Jin-ho turns, surprised. If you're looking for Hyungnim, he's..." But she interrupts him. "No, this is for Hunter Yu Jin-ho." Jin-ho takes the phone, his expression shifting as he listens to the voice on the other end. His eyes widen in shock, the carefree attitude vanishing in an instant, replaced by dawning horror. He turns to Jin-Woo, his face pale and his voice trembling. "I'm sorry, Hyungnim," he says, bowing his head. "I have to go to Korea." Jin-Woo's golden eyes narrow with concern. "What's the matter?" Jin-ho looks away, his own eyes filled with confusion and fear. "I'm not sure myself, but I've been told to return as some family matters have come up." A helicopter is immediately dispatched. Hanekawa offers to escort him to the airport. "I'll be going, Hyungnim," Jin-ho says, his voice heavy. Jin-Woo simply nods. "All right." Inside the transport, Jin-ho stares out the window, his mind racing. "I've never heard Mother's voice so shaky before," he thinks, a knot of dread tightening in his stomach. What could be wrong? As the helicopter cuts through the sky, a wave of denial washes over him. "No, let's just forget about it," he tries to convince himself. It could be nothing after all. Soon, he lands at Incheon International Airport. He's met by a man in a suit, his father's assistant. "Young master, we've prepared a car for you," the man says politely. "Please come with me." As they walk, the assistant's words are grave. "You must brace yourself in times like these. I will explain everything on the way." Jin-ho's confusion turns to cold fear. What's going on? They arrive at a hospital. The assistant hesitates. It's a long story, but he finally delivers the devastating news. President Yu Myung-han has fallen into eternal sleep, a state identical to the one Jin-Woo's own mother was trapped in for years, a magical coma from which there is no escape. Jin-ho rushes to his father's room, only to be held back. He screams, his hand pressed against the glass barrier, desperate to reach his father. "Father!" The assistant firmly holds him back. "You cannot go near him." The assistant explains the cruel reality. The presence of a hunter who cannot control his magic will only exacerbate his condition. Jin-ho's shoulders slump in defeat. Is that so? He stands in the stark hallway, his own power now a curse, preventing him from being by his father's side. His eyes, glowing with an uncontainable blue light, reflect his despair. "Yet again," he whispers, his voice breaking. "I am a useless son." The assistant approaches, holding out a thick, leather-bound book. "This is..." Jin-ho asks, confused. "It's what your father was working on, right before he collapsed." "I've been holding on to it in case he wakes up and looks for it," the assistant says softly. "But it seems like you need it more now." Jin-ho's eye widens as he takes the book. He opens it. It's a scrapbook, filled with articles and photos, a meticulous record of his and his siblings' lives. He looks through the pages, a sad smile touching his lips. They say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. He's still got the same habit of scrapbooking every article he likes. He sees articles about his siblings, accomplishments, competitions, exhibitions, concerts. His father had been storing them all, every little memory. And then he sees the most recent entries, articles about his own ventures with the Ajin Guild, headlines questioning if he was brave or reckless. His father had been following his journey too. The truth crashes down on him. The assistant's voice echoes in his mind. "It's not that President Yu didn't love you. It's just that his expectations for you were just as big as his love for you." The carefully constructed dam of his emotions finally breaks, and tears of grief and understanding stream down his face. The assistant leads the grieving son away. "Let's take you to the residence first." Jin-ho can only manage a quiet, "Okay." As he walks away, he feels something behind him. He turns, confused. "Huh?" The assistant turns back. "Young master?" But as they walk down the long, sterile corridor, something is different. A presence lingers in the empty hall they just left behind. A shadowy figure, wreathed in a sinister purple aura, watches them go. It scoffs, its voice dripping with contempt. "That crybaby? It's Jin-Woo." He's making me all emotional, he sneers, his voice a low hiss. He opens a potion of the divine water of life. At that very moment, a car pulls up to a residence. "My lady, we've arrived," the driver says. "Thank you, sir," she replies. As she walks through the hallway, a flicker of movement catches her eye. A quiet thought, a subtle realization. She looks back, her eyes widening in surprise as she sees the silhouette of a man walking away. "Huh? That's..." Chairman Yu Myung-han is awake, his own eyes wide with surprise. "Jin-hee?" She covers her mouth, a sob escaping her lips as tears stream down her face. "Dad!" Inside the room, a miracle has occurred. Her father, Yu Myung-han, is sitting up in bed, alive and well. "So you're saying I've awoken from eternal sleep?" he asks, bewildered. The doctor can only stare in utter disbelief. "This has never been documented before. Waking up from eternal sleep." The medical staff is in an uproar. "I can't even imagine what the media would have to say about this," one of them exclaims, realizing the earth-shattering implications of what has just happened. Outside, Jin-Woo stares up at a single lit window. A knowing smirk plays on his lips. He's delivered his gift. He turns and walks away, his purpose fulfilled. It's a little early, Jin-Woo thinks to himself, a rare, genuine smile on his face. But happy birthday, Jin-ho.